Beautiful. Hello there. We've had a little bit of some technical difficulties, but here I am. I'm so excited to be here with you all. My name is Morgan Lynn. I am a trauma informed intuitive coach, a somatic mentor, and embodiment guide. And I had a conversation planned today for something entirely different. And I do tend to follow the rhythm of ebb and flow and my own capacity and how I show up in the world. And so I thought maybe what I would do instead is talk with you about capacity and authenticity. So, what do I mean by that? I've been in the personal development, spiritual development game, life, adventure, growth. I've had my business for 20 years. So I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of trends. I've seen a lot of changes. This one word always comes up, authenticity, and what it means to be authentic in the world. And if you will allow me to have just a little bit of a soapbox in this moment, because I wonder if sometimes when there is a word that a community grabs onto and it creates a buzzword, I wonder if we collectively, in general, lose touch with the word. For me, authenticity means showing up real, being exactly where you are in the moment that you are that without putting on the mask or the pretense or the persona. And how do you show up for yourself in that way, still creating value for the moment that you're showing up in and not abandon yourself in doing so? That to me is authenticity. And I hear a lot of spiritual circles, a lot of teachers, a lot of leaders talk about authenticity, and how I'm experiencing them is there's a lot of force in their masking when they show up in that way. Or the opposite side of that, when you show up in your authentic self, it can make people uncomfortable, right? It can make people uncomfortable. I want to just kind of look here. Good, good, good. Um, because what if true authenticity actually is meant to disrupt? What if it's meant to disrupt the masks and the persona and the coping strategies that we learn as humans, that we learn as children, right? We learn to cope and get through things that are uncomfortable when they're unsure or unstable. Like we know how to navigate that space really well. And so we become proficient at being able to cope. And yet, when we talk about authenticity, and yet we're also talking about the illusion of authenticity, which is for me self abandonment. You can't be authentic and self abandon at the same time. Those two things cancel each other out. And where am I going with this? I'm sort of showing up exactly what I'm talking about. Like, this is what I'm talking about. I don't really have a plan. I know that when I tune into myself, I know that I'm here with you and I know that I'm showing up with you. And this is where I am today. In, again, so many circles, so many movements, so many situations in our world when we gather and we cheer each other on and we want to be the change we want to see in the world. What if you're in an ebb in your life and it's difficult for you to be in the change, in the action, in the flow? I suppose what I'm saying is, are you being authentic with self in that moment to show up as you are and no more than you are? For me, I think this conversation really goes into spaces that I would talk about with my clients, with empaths, with people pleasers, with rescuers, with fixers, these archetypal kind of personality traits, even though they're not personality traits, they look like it. But these archetypes that we take on to move and navigate in the world. When one is a people pleaser or a fixer or a rescuer, those aren't inherently good, bad, right, or wrong. We're not looking for the personality trait that looks right or looks wrong. We're looking for what part of that trait is no longer working for you, how it's harming you. So like you could take the entire space of a people pleaser, almost like a pie chart. It unto itself is not bad or wrong, but there is a piece of that pie that is harming the person that is that archetype, that they are self abandoning in that moment. And so that's more of what I'm speaking to, right? That's more of what I'm speaking to. hmm And as I'm channeling this in, thanks for going along with me. As I feel into all of that, these spaces that we get into, this personal development space and spiritual development spaces, I think I always want to lean into yes, and it's always very important to have eyes turned in to navigate the space, having a relationship with your own capacity. With your own capacity, having an intimate relationship with the space that is within you. How much do you have for this moment in time? That to me is the most authentic you can be with yourself. The showing up exactly as you are and no more. No more pushing, no more pretending. There's no performance. I know that I feel like women in general in this society are taught to perform over being authentically themselves in that moment. We are taught and trained to be all things for all people at all times. That's where we get our value. That's how the world tells us we have value, is when we're able to be all things for all people. And I think it's time to disrupt that. I think it's time to question that, to have each woman individually turn eyes in and ask themselves, is that actually true for me? Do I have to be all things for all people? Is that actually where my value is? Because the moment you turn eyes in and you begin to ask those questions, those appropriate questions, you begin to disrupt the training that that's where your value is, that you have to continuously show up and be all things in order to get that hit of evidential proof that you have value in this world. I'm just pausing to let all that land. We have a beautiful breakdown happening in our world. There's a lot of systems breaking down. A lot of people are waking up, as we would say, waking up to their own illusion, waking up to their own false persona. A lot of shaking up and waking up is happening in a lot of different sections of population. And I see it for women in this very general space where we have been told that our value is based on being these things for people. And so we do, and we give, and we care, and we rescue, and we fix, and we please, and appease, and we just keep going and keep going and keep going. Never once questioning if that's actually what we want to do, if that's actually the way we want to be in the world. The hook is when we believe it's our value. And so, one of the things that I stand in, how my frequency vibrates, is I disrupt. When I was younger, I didn't quite understand that. I didn't understand how friend groups would break up or these community circles would break up. Like I would go into these spaces and break them up unknowingly. But now I understand there's a divine mirror in me. There's a divine mirror, and part of my purpose is to disrupt, is to mirror back and have people question appropriately what is serving them and what's not serving them. And I see this relationship with authenticity being one of those spaces. What does authenticity mean to you? I'd love to hear, like later, if you're listening now, pop it in the chat. I would love to know what authenticity means to you. And I think I'm going to ask that question in two ways. What does authenticity mean to you in the world, in this external space? But what does that authenticity mean internally for you? How do you know when you're showing up authentically? What does it feel like in your body? What are the sensations? What's the movement that happens in you when you show up in that way? Because for me, authenticity is when I do not abandon myself. That's it. It's simple. I have worked for so many years to dismantle and heal and forgive and let rest the part of me that continuously wants to please. And so I'm very well versed in what it feels like to be in the people pleaser mode. This new authenticity space for me, even showing up on this video right now, is a very vulnerable, authentic moment for me because I don't have all my shit together. I don't have all the answers in this moment. I don't feel together. I feel tired and stretched and tender and not this, like in the story of how I'm supposed to be showing up as one of the leaders in this group. I am disrupting that story and it's very vulnerable. Another thing about me, as you get to know me, I'm a talking processor. I get my best insights when I'm able to sit and just kind of ramble them out. That's authentic to me. That's my version of authenticity. And then there's another side of this conversation that I want to bring in today and talk about capacity. You know, capacity is something that I don't think we aren't we're not taught capacity. We're not taught to look in. We're always taught to look out. That's the way our world is kind of functioning, in especially in our country, in this capitalistic kind of society where you have to always seek your answers. You don't know, you don't have your answers. That's sort of the way the system is set up, the system that's breaking down. Capacity is a conversation for me where it's an intimate relationship of being able to turn eyes in and know at any given moment the amount of energy, space, and time I have for a moment that I'm in. So it starts with eyes in. It starts with an intimacy, and I mean a visceral feeling of what capacity feels like in the body. When I tune into it, I imagine the central channel that houses the chakra system. And I imagine how wide is it? How like if I were to measure my capacity in this moment, it feels about right here, which for me is rather narrow. Not wrong, just narrow, just noticing where it is. Like notice for yourself. You can kind of feel the sensations. For me, it feels like tightness. Have you ever had moments where you feel so open and fluid and joyful? That's your capacity that's more wide. There's more spaciousness in the body. And so navigating authentically by committing to capacity is actually how we can show up best in the world. That's how we show up in our best self. Not our perfect hair and our perfect outfits, our everything is in order and I have every single word, every single bullet point ready to go. That's the old way. That's how we used to show up. That's how we were told to show up. And it wasn't wrong, it's just old. It's outdated. Especially in this technological age where a lot of things are online and now AI is doing most of the work for us. You can actually give AI your image and it can run a whole talk. That's a little scary. But as we move into this technological age, authenticity is going to be even more impacting. Being able to show up in the capacity that we are in the moment and being really honest about that and having no apology about that. Simply arriving as you are and being where you are in that moment, I believe is one of the most honest gifts you can give the people that you're showing up for. It's the most precious of things. And so this is where I am today. This is where I am. Feeling a little tight in that capacity. Feeling vulnerable in not feeling ready for this conversation. Truthfully, just channeling it because I didn't make any notes. Like I said, we had some technical difficulties, and so I felt a little frazzled. And I thought, you know what? I'm not ready for this. Let's do it anyway. Still wanting to be here, right? Still wanting to show up, but also at the same time having the sacred decision within me to not push something that I am not willing or not capable of holding. Not putting on the face and the voice, and I'm trying to be more than I am. I feel like what I really want to, what I really want you to hear is how gorgeous you are when you simply show up as you are, and how much the world is craving that connection. Not the facade, not the act, not the show. That's who we used to be. That's where we come from. That's not who we are anymore. And please hear where I'm coming from in this moment. I'm not coming from a space of calling anyone out. This is not that. This is not me watching videos and wonder. No, 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 no. This is me looking at the macrocosm, not the microcosm, not individual people, not individual moments. I'm looking at the way we're shifting as a species, as a planet, as a community. And so I just, wanted to, that's my ego wanting to drop in and go, you sound like a bitch. So I just wanted to drop that in for a moment. So just take a breath with me, right? Just take a breath with me. I have a women's group that it's called Her Sovereign Way, and this is how we hold each other. It's right here in the messiest of messes, in the most glorious, unabashed, unapologetic. I have no fucking clue what we're talking about, but I'm here. Like, this is authentic. This is the real. This is the moment. And so what we do in our group is we show up. I say we arrive, right? We arrive as is, as we are, and we hold each other right where we are. And I think I was inspired to just kind of bring that energy over into today and arrive and be here with you. in that group, we do work on capacity. We do work on, and if you'll permit me, I'd love to just share with you how we do that in our group. So, as I was saying, get an idea of the amount, like that column of light that's within you, your central channel. How wide, what's the diameter of that column? And not to gauge it and compare it to yesterday or tomorrow. There's no comparison. It's where it is where it is, right? And so just being able to, like, yeah, it feels like it's about right there. Because even when I breathe, it's labored. I can feel the tightness. I can feel the tiredness, honestly, and nothing's wrong with that. There's sacredness in being able to rest. But in the exercise that we do, so when you get that sense of where your capacity is, you go into that space and you speak to the wisdom that is capacity. In other words, the part of you that is monitoring your systems, the wisdom, I call it, the wisdom within. And you ask capacity, you say, hey, capacity, would you be willing to open just 1 inch? And you just pause and you let it. You don't do it, you let it. You witness it, you let it just kind of, and you hold it. See if you can take a deeper breath. It's like, oh, that's nice. And after a few moments, if it feels appropriate, you can say, hey, capacity, would you be willing to open it another inch? Would you be willing to do that one more time? And you let it. You don't do it. It does it for you. And the idea is this is very helpful for people that find themselves in overwhelm, people that have anxiety or panic attacks, people that are empaths or people pleasers, right? Any type of anxiety or tightness in the chest or that overwhelm. It's such a great exercise for that. You would do that until you feel like your capacity is like, I'm good, until it doesn't respond anymore. You just keep asking and asking and asking. Then you would hold it. So we've gone from here to now maybe about right here. And I can feel that's as far as it wants to go. There's a little spring back, a little push back right there. Okay? Just hold that. In our group, we then play the gratitude game. Once you have this space open, I would imagine things that I'm grateful for and just drop them in, almost like filling up the bucket of gratitude. And I would just imagine, or you can speak them out loud, or some people journal them down. The things that you're grateful for, just rapid fire. Don't think about it. Don't be eloquent. Don't worry about it. Just like that. And I love that. And that's amazing. Oh my God, yesterday. Da, 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 da. And you fill up that space with gratitude. You breathe and you hold. And then you go, okay, thank you, thank you, capacity. Thank you. You can go back to wherever you want now. And then there's something about it just kind of relaxes a little bit in because it's not holding a stretch, just relaxes a little bit in. It doesn't always go back to the same space, which is kind of fascinating. It's almost like we're stretching and holding, stretching and holding, stretching and holding. And then we're like, hold, hold, hold. Okay. And you're teaching your nervous system that it's okay for more, that you can have more. You can have more joy, more gratitude, more abundance, more love, more flow. That is the upgrade from the way we used to do it, which is the pushing and the forcing and the showing up when we didn't feel like we needed to or couldn't show up. That push that happens in the front of the face because we're masking our tenderness and we're pretending like we're strong and capable and all the, you know what I mean, right? That force of energy. And then the beauty of this, there's not one single molecule of who I am that has abandoned myself. I've not pretended or performed or pushed. to come outside of my body to give you a persona of who I think I want you to see me as. And yet I can feel I have more space. I feel more in my body. I feel more energized. And so it, for me, is the antidote to the way we used to do things. We get to upgrade and move into this new state of being, this new proactive, I'm gonna take care of this, and I'm gonna arrive as I am in my authenticity. Yeah. Mm. I've got just a couple more minutes before I go. I will have more talks and I probably will be more put together for them. But I wanted to drop in for you. What's my inspiration here? Let me just feel it for a moment. Honestly, I think what I want to say in this moment is not that you need permission, but you have permission to rest, to be quiet, to have eyes in, to be with your capacity, to show up authentically. And it'll probably make people uncomfortable. It probably will make people uncomfortable because I think we're all secretly attuned to the mask, and the mask is more comfortable only because it's more prevalent. And so when people are really real, I think that makes people uncomfortable. But here's what I want to say around that: it's okay. That's the disruption that needs to happen. Showing up authentically means you're not going to have all of the answers, you're not going to know everything, you're not going to say all the right words. It doesn't need to be clever or performative. And I think because we've come from that world, it's what we're used to. And so when people are put together, then we're comfortable with that. But something inside knows we're not. It's like our mask recognizes their mask and we recognize each other. But you cannot have a mask and be authentic at the same time. They cancel each other out. The mask is self abandonment, it's the pretend part of you. And it's okay, sometimes it needs to be there. That also is not inherently right or wrong. We just want to make sure it's not harming you. And so you have permission to not have any of that go on. I wonder what it would look like if we all just showed up right where we are, right in the energy that we are, and then we gave each other grace for where we are. Wouldn't that be an amazing world? I think so. So, in closing, I appreciate this space. I appreciate this time with you. I hope what I I hope what I said landed in some way. Um, there is a running joke in my circle that I call these divine ramblings and magical musings because yeah, sometimes the truth is in the rambling. So, sending you all love. I will see you again. I'm not sure when I'm on next, but I have two more talks. I will see you again and keep playing. Eyes in, authenticity, checking in on your capacity. See what that does for you. I would love to hear in the chat later on when you watch this how that's landing in you and how that's moving in you, because I feel like that's the new muscle of moving forward in this new world. And so enjoy that gift. I'll see you next time. Bye.